good morning, good afternoon, good night, whenever you're watching this. Today we're going to look at linear measurement, so that's just measuring lines, something that you've probably done before. We're going to look at a few new vocab words and do some example problems. So a line segment, notice it's a segment, so it's actually part of a line. It has two endpoints. So instead of going on and on forever and ever, this one actually stops, which means that it can be measured. It has a specific length that we can measure. Between, this is a hard word to define without actually using the word between. It is a point that is in between two other points, and they have to be collinear. They have to be on the same line. But notice that it's not always, because something's in between something doesn't mean that it's always right in the middle. So I'm going to specifically draw A, C, and B in the middle, and I'm not going to put B exactly in the middle. What we would say is B is in between A and C. And notice they are collinear, they're all on the same line. Congruent, the symbol, is an equal sign with a line above it. It basically just means the same or equal measure. We just use this symbol in geometry when we're talking about the measures of angles or the measures of segments. So for example, if I have a triangle, X, Y, Z, and I have another triangle, I'll try to draw it exactly the same, not quite, A, B, and C. I can use tick marks to show that segments are congruent. So if I wanted to show XY is congruent to AB, I would put those little tick marks on there. If I draw two tick marks, so if I put two tick marks there and two tick marks there, that means XZ is congruent or equal to AC. So in other words, if XY is 3 feet, then AB must be 3 feet long. Okay? Now just a review of what an inch segment looks like. So this right here is a breakdown of an inch and all the measurements on a ruler. So the one that's right in between, that's our half mark. The ones that are just a little bit shorter than that, you'll notice we break it into 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, 4 space. So that's 4 different spaces we have there. So those are fourths, 1/4, 2/4, and 3/4. The ones that are just shorter than that, we have here, it splits the inch into 8 pieces. So they're 1/8, this is 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, and then 7/8. And the ones that are really, really small, the tiniest ones, split, I'm not going to draw all of them, into 16 spaces. So those are 1/16. Oops. So let's take a look at some of these lengths and see what they are. So right here, looks like there's 10 spaces here. So each of these is 1, so this would be 41, and then this would be 42 millimeters. Part B, you'll notice in between here, it's split into 4 segments. This one is going halfway between, so this would be 4.5, or you could write it as 4.5 centimeters. And then, let's see, part C is over here. Now this is 1 inch there. This is 1/2. The marks that it's going to, you'll notice that's broken into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces. It is filled with 1, 2, 3 spaces. So this would be 3/8 of an inch. And the last one, it doesn't tell you anything. This is inches. So we're going to not the very, very small ones. Those are 16ths. The ones just above that, those are considered eighths. And you'll see that there's 8 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 spaces between 1 and 2. So this would be 1 inch, and then 1 space, 2, 3, 4, 5 eighths of an inch. Okay? The next part of this is looking at just lines. Now, main concept today is if we have 2 segments, in order to find the entire thing, xz, we have to add them together. 4 5/8 plus 2 1/2. That's going to get us the total length. Now, in order to add them together, we have to have common denominators. So we have 8 over here. If I want 8 there, how do I get from 2 to 4, or 2 to 8? I multiply by 4. So multiply the top by 4. And now add our whole numbers, we could get 6. Add our fractions, we get 9/8. Now the only problem there is that 9/8 is a whole, so we need to add 1 to the 6 to make it 7. If we subtract 8, we would have 1/8 left over. So the total length would be 7 1/8 of an inch. Number 3, they give us the entire length and then a short length. We have to find this part. So there's 2 different ways we could do this. One of them we could just subtract. We could take the long length minus 2.6, and that would give us the 1.4 centimeters. The other way is that we could set up an equation. We could say x plus 2.6 equals the entire length, which is 4. You're going to subtract 2.6 from both sides, and again, you'll get the same answer either way. So 2 different ways to do that one. And the last example we have today, you'll notice they don't have a drawing, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to actually draw it. So we need to find x and st. T is between. All right, so between, let's put S and U. So S and U on our line. T is in between somewhere, so let's just put T there. That tells us ST is 7x, so we're going to label this 7x. SU is 45, well that's the whole thing. And TU is 5x minus 3. Now what we need to do is set up an equation based on our diagram to represent the situation. So we want our short piece plus the other short piece equals the entire length, which is 45. And now we just solve the equation. 12x minus 3 equals 45. Add 3, divide by 12, and x is 4. And remember, we need to find ST as well. So we need to take this, substitute it in up here. So ST is going to be 7 times 4, or 28 minutes long. Again, there's a worksheet here. I'm not sure if I'm going to have a Google Doc or an iExcel that goes along with it, but pay attention to either an email or an announcement. Okay? Thank you guys. As always, it's a perfect day to be. You know it. A better me.